What if I told you that everything you know about selfishness is a lie? My name is Runo, and I'm here to debunk everything they've taught you about selfishness. Let's go. So right now, I can assume that you're most likely wondering, oh my god, everything you taught me is a lie. So what should I believe in now? No. Not everything is a lie, just this one. For centuries, we have made being selfish to be almost equal to being the devil. Calling people who are selfish to be bad-mannered, bad people, and generally have karma coming back on them for not being helpful. But what if I tell you that you being selfish is literally the key you need to become your biggest, highest, most successful self? Now that we've gotten that clear, let's start to debunk all these myths together. First and foremost, starting off from the myth that selfishness and self-centeredness are the exact same thing. No, honey, they're different. So I checked the Oxford Dictionary for this one, and here's what they mean. Being selfish means caring only about yourself rather than caring about others. Meanwhile, being self-centered means that you think only about yourself and you don't think about the needs and concerns of other people. One thing I'd like us to know is that when it comes to being selfish, you care about your needs over the needs of others. It's kind of like you're in school, you only have one pen, and now Bianca sitting next to you is asking you for a pen. Why would I give you a pen when I only got one? If I give you this pen, I have nothing to use for myself. In that situation, obviously you wouldn't give Bianca a pen. That is you being selfish. You are prioritizing your needs over Bianca's. Bear in mind that it said caring about yourself rather than caring about others. It means that selfish people still have the capacity to care about the feelings of others. It's just that most of the time they choose not to care about it. But when the need arises, they will care about others. When someone is self-centered, however, they are incapable of thinking about others. Everything that's in their head is me, myself, and I, solo riding till I die. That is quite literally what their life is like. So, what we actually call being selfish, not thinking about others, is actually being self-centered. Being selfish is not actually a bad thing. Because when you're selfish, the people around you, as surprising as it sounds, they actually benefit from you being selfish. And that is where we're going to in our second section. Why it's not bad to be selfish. Number one, you give your energy to people who deserve it. There's this book I read by author Mark Mason, I think. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. So, in this book, he talks about how we have a limited number of, for the sake of this video, I'm going to be calling it flying fishes. So, the book's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Flying Fish. Now, in this book, Mark tells us how we have a limited number of flying fishes to give. So, you can't give everybody a flying fish. Let's say you go to a shopping mall with only $100 in your wallet. And now every store that calls out to you with a finger-licking sale, you go there and buy something. Now you get to your favorite store, that could be H&M, Zara, Ross, Dior, I don't really care. You go to your favorite store and they're offering something to you that you really want, but you spent all your $100, so now you cannot buy that thing that you actually want, all because you spent your money on things that you don't actually care about. This is what we mean by we have limited flying fishes to give. When you're selfish, you're selective. It's not that you're mean, it's not that you are unkind or you're stingy, it's just that you're selective. Okay? You're niche. You choose who you want to give your kindness to. You choose who you care about. You choose who you entertain when they're giving you bullshit. So because of that, when the things that actually need your energy and your time and your love and your care come to you, you have enough love and care and time and energy to attend to. Number 2, you protect yourself from energy vampires and toxic people. There's this category of people, right? Who all they know how to do is take and take and take. And guess who their favorite prey are? The generous ones, the kind ones. The people who say, oh, I don't want to be viewed as selfish, so I'm going to do everything for everybody. AKA the people pleasers. When you're a people pleaser, you are like a gold mine to all of these energy vampires and toxic people and narcissists, because these people love to take and they never give back. And they see you're so willing to give that you don't care about getting anything back in return. So they'll go to you over and over and over, and they drain you of all your essence, of all your life. And then when you now need that life, you don't have that life anymore because it's with some bimbo who's going to some other Patricia to do the exact same thing. When you're selfish, when people know that you don't give easily, and also when you give, sometimes you expect stuff back in return. Because selfishness is not just about you don't give it easily, you also don't let things you give out easily stay out easily, if you get what I mean. When you give, you expect that there should be some sort of profit you are making, which is how life works. You cannot do anything in this life without expecting some sort of stipend to your work. So when all these toxic narcissists see that you're like that, they avoid you. Because a taker's worst enemy is another taker. Even if it's not a serial taker, as long as you show qualities as someone who's willing to take from the other person in a relationship, they will avoid you as if you're poison. Because now they know you won't let them get away with their nonsense like they would if you're a people pleaser. Number 3, you open yourself up to more opportunities. So I know we've all heard the saying, opportunity comes but once. That is so true. When you're selfish, you actually open up yourself to way more opportunities, which gets you to your dream. How do I know this? This actually happened to me a while back. So I remember in year 8, my teacher, one of my teachers in school, she asked me if I help her to do MC for our school's prize giving day for year 7s and year 8s that year. As for year 8s, I agreed and I did it. Are there better public speakers than me and myself? Most likely, I don't know. I haven't really seen anybody in my second class speak, so I'm not too sure. But I'm sure that there are some people with potential who could possibly best in the public speaking competition and might be most charismatic. And I said, back then I wasn't. Now I have quite a lot of charisma. Back when I was in year 8, I wasn't charismatic. I was quite timid and quite reserved. Back then, I wasn't charismatic, I wasn't bold, I wasn't confident. But now, all because I chose to be selfish and take that opportunity for myself, look at me now. I have this YouTube channel, I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, and I post myself to be seen by people all over the world. Not because I'm some new celebrity and I'm the next trending thing that everybody should know about. I'm not the next Kylie Jenner or the next Kim K. No. But it's because now I have that confidence. If I never took that opportunity to MC in year 8, I would not have this confidence. This channel would not exist. I would most probably still be sulking in a corner, crying about why my life is so hell, and there would be nothing I could have done to change it. Every time you choose to be selfless and give up your opportunity to somebody else, that is another part of your dream life that you're giving away. Once you make that correlation in your head, the way you'll start to take every opportunity that comes your way, especially when you know it's aligned to your future, you won't take those opportunities once you realize that every opportunity you give away is another part of your dream life you are giving away. Number 4, it's a form of self-love. That's right. So a lot of people who have a lot of inherent hatred for themselves don't hate themselves because of anything like, oh, they killed someone, or oh, they did this bad thing or that bad thing. No. It's just because they can't say no. They hate themselves because they are too open to everybody. If someone asks them, oh, please can you donate to me your right kidney? They'd say yes. Oh, please will you give me your left ear? They'd say yes. And they hate that. Because now that means that when they are the ones in need, nobody's willing to give. Because when you're a giver and you now need to take, nobody wants to give you. Because you are known as the source. So why is the source coming to ask the recipients for something? It doesn't make sense that your bank is asking you to give them a loan. You're the one meant to be going to the bank to ask for the godforsaken loan. Think about it. So obviously you ain't gonna give the bank the loan. Same thing that happens here. Which is why selfishness is a form of self-love. When you learn to be selfish with your time, with your energy, with your resources, you are saving up a pile of these things for yourself. So when you are ever in a bad situation, you can get yourself out of it and you don't have to start groveling to other people asking for help. And lastly, my last point as to why it's not bad to be selfish is it is your key to success. Look at every successful person we have on this planet right now. Okay, Jeff Bezos, Nikola Tesla, Elon Musk, Robert Kiyosaki, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj. Look at all of them. All of them were selfish, which is why they are where they are today. I'm going to take, for example, my role model, Tam Kaur. So Tam, her parents abandoned her when she was 7 years old, and she lived with her grandparents for the majority of her life. Now, her grandparents wanted her to go into the medical profession, right? But she didn't want to. She wanted to do something creative. She didn't want to do all that medicine stuff. So when she now graduated from uni and decided to focus on her YouTube channel, her grandparents asked her to get a part-time job to help her, so that she could use that to survive, right? At first she did it, but then when she realized it wasn't working for her and making her more drained than fulfilled, she did the selfish thing to throw away her grandparents' advice of having a part-time job and went tunnel vision on her YouTube channel. Now look at her today. Look at Tam Kaur now. Do you think we can compare Tam Kaur of now to the Tam Kaur of 2020, 2021? No, we can't. It's because of her being selfish that she is where she is today. And you can be just like that too, if you choose to be more selfish, if you choose to put yourself first before others. When you put yourself before others, you can help others more, because then you will have more resources. Now, we are going on to the final section of this video. How exactly do we become more selfish? I got you. Let's go. Number 1, create stronger boundaries. Sometimes it's not that we don't have boundaries, it's just that our boundaries aren't strong enough. Like for example, I know, especially in my lower years, I was quite the people pleaser. Anytime I said they would ask me, oh Runo, could you do my homework for me? I do it for them for free. If they ask me for a penny, even if it was my last pen, I give it to them. If they ask me for anything, for quite a lot of stuff, I miss food because I love food. But they asked me for a lot of stuff, I would give it to them. And then when I now needed these things back, most of these people would not give me. So when I entered, I think year 9, year 10, I remember I started to become more selfish. I started forcing myself to say no to people. Even if it was like, I'm sorry, but no, that is still better than saying, okay. It's better to afraid to say, I'm sorry, I can't do this for you, than to say yes when you actually need. You need to have stronger boundaries, because your boundaries are what draw the hard line between what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Like for example, with your parents now. Let's say you still live with your parents. With your parents, I know that you guys most probably have a limit to how much money you can ask them for. Anything above that limit is a hard no. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to be a no. Everything under and on the limit is accepted. This is exactly how being selfish works. So your boundaries, let's say it's this line. Everything below the line is as far as you're willing to give people. Everything above the line is where it stops. That's where you're focusing on yourself. Anybody who tries to cross the line gets booted back to the side where they belong. This helps to protect you from energy vampires, and it saves your energy for things you actually care about. Number 2, you need to become okay with saying no. Even if it means that you have to punish yourself every time you say yes to someone when you actually mean no do it. You need to become more comfortable with saying no. Reason why is that no is not actually that scary. All the time, we always are so scared to say no because we feel like people will villainize us or make us look bad. But when I tell you that people take no much better than we think in our heads, ever since I started year 12, no has become almost like my favorite word. Obviously, it can't be idiosyncrasy, but it's a close second. So, I am always telling people no. They ask me for this, I'm sorry, no, I can't do this for you. Ask me for that, no, I don't give out this thing. Like that. And more often than not, people actually handle this well. Because they understand that you have to look after yourself too. And then there are the petty idiots who can't take a no. All you just have to understand with those petty people is that they are immature. And they are just project because they feel like in their shrimp-sized brains that if they were to be in your position and anyone say no, they'd be villainized, they'd be demonified, they'd be accused and made to play the part of the bad guy. So now you're saying no, they don't understand why others aren't judging you for saying no, which is why they go forward to judge you so that they don't have to face their insecurity that, oh, I'm actually a people pleaser and I can't say no and I gotta fix it. You need to become more okay with this word called no, okay? It's just 2 letters, it's not that hard to say. Number 3, learn to prioritize yourself. So I have this rule where once it's between 6 to 7 p.m. at night, I do not like being disturbed by family, by friends. I don't like being disturbed. If you message me during this time, yes, I'll answer you, but I'll be very, very distant. I'm not going to be that active or online. So this is a boundary I've set, and in a way it makes me more selfish. The reason why I don't like being disturbed from 6 to 7 p.m. downwards, because that is my designated me time. That is the time I use to care for myself and to get the stuff I want to get done. That is selfishness. And now, since I have taken care of myself better, I can now extend that care to my siblings, to my parents, to my classmates, to my friends, because I've cared for myself better. When the source is running dry, everybody that comes to the source for life also suffers. You, if you know that you're a source, because all of us human beings are sources, when you know that you run dry, everybody around you suffers, not just you. Which is why you have to nourish yourself. Because when you nourish yourself, you can care for those people you care about the most. And lastly, you need to rewire your mindset around being selfish. Being selfish is not a bad thing. The bad thing is making people feel bad about themselves for being selfish. Because do you actually truly know that being selfish is actually? Because when you think about it, the nice people, the humble people, the ones that want everybody to like them, those are the actual bad guys. Because you're manipulating everybody's perception of you to be in a certain way, even though they've only experienced like a fraction of you. They haven't experienced the whole entire package. That is manipulative. Selfish people aren't manipulative. They're quite clear with their goals, their aims, their objectives, and their stipends. However, the other group of people I called the humble, the nice, these people pleasers, they are the toxic ones. They are the insecure ones. They are the bad ones. Because these are the people that will manipulate you, try and view them in a good light because they are insecure and they have to depend on that external validation. So because of that, if they aren't getting that external validation that they're a good person, they instantly start feeling bad about themselves and they have to manipulate everybody so that they are hearing that they're a good person. That's toxic. Selfish people aren't toxic. Will you ever see a person that cares about themselves and prioritizes their needs over others actually do something like that? No. Unless they're a narcissist, they're never gonna do that shit. It isn't that they're bad or they don't care about anybody. They care about themselves, right? Mark that word, themselves. They are too busy validating themselves to give two flying fishes about what anybody else says about them. That is what makes them so powerful. That is why being selfish isn't actually that bad. Being selfish is actually a good thing. Okay, I know I might have been a little bit harsh here, but the thing about this topic is that it really just gets to me because I have experienced a lot of times being called selfish just because I like to care for myself and my needs, and I felt like we should really just spread this awareness when it comes to the whole role of selfishness and how it actually helps you in your life and achieving your goals. Now, with what I just said, this is a warning. When you choose to prioritize yourself and start becoming a bit more selfish, people won't really like that. These people are the ones who benefited from you not having boundaries, from you always being available and accessible to them, and you always being the one to carry all the hard work and all the weight. Now you aren't doing that. Obviously, these people won't like you as much, but honestly, who cares? They should go and help the transformer for all right? It doesn't matter. And that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and comment down below what part of this video really stood out to you the most. I honestly love seeing that sort of thing. I'll read all your comments and I'll respond to every single comment that I see on this video. If you like the vibe here, if you like these sort of videos and you just want more of this, I have a bunch of others on my YouTube channel, so you can subscribe if you haven't yet, and make sure that you're always up to date on this. Did you know I also vlog too? Yeah, that's right. I vlog on this channel, I sing, I get up to a lot of really fun stuff. So if that's your vibe, if that whole pink girly does it all thing is your vibe, subscribe. The button's right there. It's right there. It's right there in that corner. I know you can see the button. I can see the button too. It's right there. Lastly, I'm also on a bunch of other social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Snapchat. I try my best to post consistently every single day there, although to be honest, I post more on Instagram and TikTok than I do on Snapchat. All my socials are linked down below. Remember, we are all marshmallows floating around in the hot chocolate called life. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!